When it comes to talking about my thoughts and ideas regarding the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it usually is extremely hard to articulate. This is because whenever I start talking about my theories and ideas, they all kind of jumble together in a big, unintelligible mess. I cannot think of a time I have been more excited for something than I have been for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I and many others have so many incredible ideas for this game, so for this video, I thought I would not only tell you all some of the theories I have, but also read out some of the comments from my first Tears of the Kingdom video, as you guys had some great ideas as well. Feel free to leave your own theories in the comments below, as I might do another one of these. Leave a like while you're down there, and if you feel like it, you could even subscribe to the channel. One last thing before we start, please keep in mind that many of us do not want spoilers regarding this game, so please refrain from posting anything in relation to the art book leaks in the comments, because that would be very bad. With that out of the way, it's time to talk about our first idea. Captain Blue Boy says, I really hope that Dark Link comes back as a mini-boss. It would be fun to fight a boss that has the same abilities as the player because it makes them think outside the box. Okay, I really like this idea. The Dark Link fight is probably one of my favorites from Ocarina of Time. Although I think it's fairly likely we see something similar to a Dark Link fight, I personally would like to see a Malice Link, like the one in Age of Calamity. It would behave just like Dark Link, but I just think it would be a bit more visually interesting. Overall, great idea, and one that I think actually has a pretty good chance of actually becoming reality. Now for one of my own theories. I do not think the voice we hear in the newest trailer is Ganondorf, at least not in the present. When you look at Ganondorf in all the trailers, he is mummified, with malice literally pouring out of him. I don't know about you, but I don't think he's in a good position to do much of anything, let alone speak. Even when we see him move, it's jerky, almost like the malice is animating the corpse of the long-sealed Gerudo King. I believe that the voice we hear is actually Ganondorf in the past, raising an army to destroy Hyrule. However, he was stopped by this figure and sealed before he could do so, similar to his fate before the event of Twilight Princess. Whether we see this in a memory or experience it firsthand in the form of some time travel shenanigans, I can't say. I just can't picture this voice coming out of the borderline raisin that Ganondorf is now. Our next comment is from Kiro Tai, who says, Tears of the Kingdom needs to let us swim underwater. Honestly, I was never a big supporter of the idea that we'll be able to swim in Tears of the Kingdom. I think the problem was that they would need to provide a good reason for why we couldn't do it in the first game. However, the most recent gameplay preview did show us something pretty interesting. After Link gets blown off one of the islands and he goes into freefall, when he lands safely in the water, you might notice that the icon for his new Ascend ability becomes active when he is in the water. Now, this means one of two things. Either this is saying that Link could go back up to the place he fell using the ability he first showed us at the end of the 2021 trailer, or this might mean that we can not only ascend into ceilings and the skies above, but also descend below the waves of Hyrule. I was once a non-believer, but now I'm beginning to see this as somewhat of a possibility. Thanks for the idea. So another theory of mine is one that a lot of people have suggested, but I'm going to put a bit of a spin on it. In the 2021 trailer, we see Zelda fall into a chasm, her fate still being unknown to this day. Many people have speculated that Zelda will die in Tears of the Kingdom, hence the name of the title. But my theory is that Zelda might not necessarily die, but Link thinks she has. I think this would be great character development, as Link would feel guilty for not being able to save her. What if for the first time we see a version of Link that isn't wanting to fight evil to save Hyrule, but for revenge against Ganondorf? I don't know why, but the idea of a morally grey hero is something I would love to see a Zelda game try at some point, and what better way than to make Link think that one of the only friends he has left is gone. Our next idea comes from Ozloner, who actually brought up 2 points, but I want to focus on the second one specifically. Traversing the world in a mech. I know it sounds silly, but hear me out. The idea of a fantasy game piloting a giant mech sounds so far-fetched. Think about the advanced technologies that we've seen throughout the years with Zelda games. We just had a motorcycle for crying out loud, and it doesn't have to be full-on mechanical like in Xenoblade Chronicles X. They can make it like a golem that you've beaten and it swears an oath to you. Well, Ozloner, you weren't far off. Tears of the Kingdom is looking to be the most sandbox-driven Zelda game yet, being held high with the new weapon fusing and vehicle crafting mechanics. I don't think that the system that Nintendo has in place currently is powerful enough for a mech to be created, but I could easily see them doing something for DLC or even post-game content. Great idea, and one that turned out to be suspiciously accurate to what we're actually getting in Tears of the Kingdom. A cool idea that I've seen getting more traction with the newest trailer is the return of classic bosses. What once seemed like a distant hope for I and many other people may actually be a reality. This is because on the Bridge of Hylia, we see none other than Gleeok making his grand return in his first 3D Zelda game. Now, it hasn't been confirmed this is Gleeok, but what other three-headed dragons are there in the Zelda series? This has led I and many other people to speculate on whether or not we will see other classic bosses return. The Gleeok we see in the February trailer looks to have fire on all three of its heads, which may or may not confirm other elemental versions. But what other classic bosses would we see? How about an electric Aquamentus wandering around the Thundra Plateau? Or an Ice Dodongo on Hebra Peak? And who's to say that these elemental variants are limited to bosses? Age of Calamity shows us that elemental versions of powerful enemies like Moblins and Lynels did exist in Hyrule at some stage, and in the new Tears of the Kingdom trailer, we see what can only be described as malice-infected enemies, which were also present in Age of Calamity. With many people having issue with Breath of the Wild's enemy variety, Nintendo could easily kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Bring back classic bosses from the original Zelda games, and give all enemies elemental and malice variants that need to be taken down in different and inventive ways. Thane Vakarian brings up a great idea that I would love to see in Tears of the Kingdom. One-of-a-kind optional NPC boss fights with cool rewards for winning. See that badass looking knight with a cool armor set? Well, if you fight him and you win, you get that armor kind of thing. If you don't mind, Fade, I'm gonna put a bit of a spin on your idea. The idea of getting more unique armor sets and loot from NPCs is a great one, whether that be by fighting them or doing a quest for them. I kind of picture what Elden Ring did with its armor and how you get it, either by fighting NPCs, buying it from merchants, or doing quests. I think we need more quests in Tears of the Kingdom that aren't just go here and get 5 of these for me, and I think the inclusion of more unique armor for doing these would be a great reward. Imagine you just finished a quest about the length of Tarrey Town, and you get a unique set of armor to show that you've done it, or a unique set for finding all the collectibles in the game that is extremely powerful and only intended for endgame players. On top of your idea, I would also like to see the armor you upgrade change appearance based on what level you upgrade it to. Thanks for the idea. Sorry I hijacked that one a little. I've seen this next idea talked about a bit, but I wanted to tell you my thoughts on it. Just after the February trailer, Nintendo posted some official art of Link in his new Sky Tunic, Zelda, the Broken Master Sword, and a boss Bokoblin. But what caught my eye was the art of Zelda, as she looks similar to how we've seen her up until this point, with the short hair and torch that she uses for exploring the cave, presumably at the beginning of the game. However, she is also holding a Sheikah Slate. Now, this doesn't appear to be the same one used by Link throughout the course of his adventure in Breath of the Wild, but a new model entirely. However, I have a theory regarding this slate's origins, and I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I believe that this new Sheikah Slate was made by Purah. We know from Purah's diary in Breath of the Wild that she actually made her own Sheikah Slate. This is how she used the anti-aging rune on herself, which worked a little too well, but that's besides the point. Furthermore, where the Sheikah symbol was on the original slate, there is a similar eye pattern, this time with little protrusions that not only are present on almost everything made by the Sheikah, but also the glasses of the person who made it. We do not yet know what role this new slate will play in the role of Tears of the Kingdom, as it hasn't been present in any trailers so far. I don't know, maybe Ganondorf steals it from Zelda and uses the anti-aging rune to turn himself into the hot Ganondorf that apparently everybody wants to see. Only time will tell. Hi, me again. Just quickly wanted to talk about a little mini theory I have for Tears of the Kingdom. Since Nintendo appears to be adding and changing things that people had problems with in Breath of the Wild, I believe that Tears of the Kingdom will have a much more orchestral soundtrack, one that is more epic and, dare I say, iconic. We can hear some of the music in the new gameplay preview, and overall, it sounds pretty good. It's a little hard to hear what with Aonuma talking of the in-game sound effects, but you can make out some of the tracks. My favourite being the version of the main theme that plays when Aonuma is talking about the game in the beginning and end of the presentation. We could also hear the regular overworld theme returning from the first game, proving that at least some of the soundtrack will be reused. By the way, if you want to hear some Tears of the Kingdom inspired music, I would 100% recommend checking out Beethoven Music, as some of his original tracks are nothing short of masterful. Go give him a listen when you can. And for our final theory/idea for this video, Jack Beamish says, "You better be able to pet the dogs in Tears of the Kingdom." I couldn't agree more. I think it is so unfair that Zelda got to pet the dog after, what, Daruk saved it? And here I am giving them food, taking them for walks, and I still can't pet them. Obviously the dogs like Zelda more than me, but she did nothing to deserve it. Sorry, I got a bit carried away there. In all seriousness though, please Nintendo. Wow, that's a lot of ideas. Thank you all so much for the support of the last Tears of the Kingdom video, and thank you to all the people who commented on it with your amazing ideas. Keep in mind that this video began development before the newest gameplay footage, so I didn't bring up a lot of stuff in that, but stay tuned, I'm working on a video covering that gameplay right now. Feel free to leave your own theories in the comments below, as I, again, really want to do another one of these at some point, but just remember, no leaks. I am so excited for Tears of the Kingdom to launch. The fact that we are this close to the game releasing, I can't wait. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like down below, and comment your Tears of the Kingdom theories and ideas while you're down there. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, and stay subscribed.